Landlord, a story of love, fear, and revenge. A long time ago, there was a small village. People lived happily, working in their farms and homes. Among them was a young boy named Karan. His father was a farmer, and Karan helped him in the fields. In the same village lived a beautiful girl named Kiran. She stayed with her mother and was kind, brave, and full of life. Karan and Kiran loved each other deeply. Every evening, they met in the fields, laughing and dreaming about their future. They wanted to marry and live happily forever. But in the heart of the village stood a grand Haveli palace. It was old and mysterious. This Haveli belonged to the landlord, the richest and most powerful man in the village. He ruled over everyone, and no one could refuse his orders. But there was something strange about him. He lived alone. No one ever saw his family. The villagers were scared of the Haveli because whoever went inside never came back. The landlord's dark secret. The landlord had a strange habit. Every night under the dim moonlight, he read spooky books. One night, as he read a cursed book, something evil took over his body. His face twisted, his eyes turned red, and his voice became deep and horrifying. He had turned into a ghost. That night, he killed the 5 workers who served in his Haveli. The next morning, he became a normal man again. The villagers were terrified when they found the dead bodies, but they could not do anything. The landlord was powerful, and no one could refuse his orders. Every night, he called new workers to the Haveli. And every night, the same thing happened. He became a ghost and killed them all. No one dared to speak against him. The landlord wants Kiran. One day, a message arrived at Kiran's home. "Your daughter must come to work in my Haveli," the landlord ordered. Kiran's mother was shocked. She knew what had happened to others. She knew that if Kiran went, she might never return. "No, I won't go," Kiran cried. Her mother held her close. "I don't want to send you either, my child, but we have no choice. If we refuse, the landlord will punish us." With a heavy heart, Kiran agreed. The next morning, she walked into the Haveli. That night, something strange happened. The landlord did not harm her. Instead, he gave her gold, clothes, and food. Kiran happily told Karan, "See, the landlord is not bad. He gave me so many gifts." But Karan was worried. "Kiran, don't forget, many have died in that Haveli. Please be careful." The next night, Kiran was in the landlord's room. She lit a candle, but suddenly the landlord shivered in fear. His face turned pale. "Why are you scared of fire?" Kiran asked. But the landlord did not answer. The next day, Kiran told Karan. Karan thought deeply. Could fire be his weakness? The night of horror. The third night was dark and stormy. The wind howled and rain poured over the village. Kiran was in the kitchen making dinner. In his room, the landlord was reading his spooky book. Then, the evil spirit took over him again. His eyes glowed red, his body twisted, and he became a monster. Kiran walked into the room and froze in fear. The landlord had turned into a ghost. She screamed and ran, but the Haveli's gates closed by themselves. "Help! Someone, please help me!" she cried. 4 villagers passing by heard her screams and ran inside. But the moment they stepped in, the ghost killed them all. Kiran tried to escape, but the ghost caught her by the throat. She struggled, thinking of her mother, of Karan, of her dreams. And then she died. Karen's revenge. The next morning, the villagers were heartbroken. "Enough!" they cried. But the landlord stood before them. "I have done nothing," he lied. "And if you speak against me, I will throw you out of the village." Karan was devastated. His love was gone, and so he made a plan. "Sir, I wish to work in your Haveli." The landlord smirked. "Good. Come tomorrow." That night, Karan worked in the Haveli. The landlord sat in his room, reading his evil book. And then the ghost returned. When Karan entered the room, he saw the real face of the landlord, a horrible monster. The ghost attacked him. Karan fought back, but he knew he could not win. Then he remembered. "Fire! He is scared of fire!" Karan quickly pulled out a matchbox from his pocket and lit a match. The ghost screamed. The monster tried to run, but Karan was ready. He had already spread oil around the room. With one flick, the Haveli burst into flames. The ghost shrieked in pain. His body burned, and his evil soul was destroyed forever. By morning, it was over. The landlord was never a man, Karan told the villagers. He was a ghost, I have taken revenge for Kiran and for everyone he killed. The villagers cheered for Karan, but Karan did not celebrate. His love was gone, and so he walked away, alone. And that, my friends, is the tragic tale of the haunted landlord. If you like this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.